All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Money Matters. And this is Sunday, 3 p.m. right now here in Malaysia. And thank you so much for joining us today. If you're someone who's new to Money Matters and this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the family and join us in our future sessions as well. We discuss all kinds of topics revolving around the topic of money. We have had young people share their experiences. We have had experienced individuals come and share their experiences. We have had all kinds of speakers, all kinds of experiences shared in this platform. And we have had even game shows where young people test their knowledge, whether they have been understanding the basic concepts of money. We've also had amazing interview sessions with some of people from the industry itself, people who are bankers, people who are entrepreneurs. And this is a good place for you to continuously learn and upgrade yourself in the field of personal finance and business finance as well. So thank you so much for always being here. And for my viewers who are returning, if this is you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for supporting us and continuously tuning in to Money Matters. It truly, truly means a lot to us. So for the newer ones, if you guys are wondering, hey Madhura, I found out about today, but I actually don't know where do I continue to get more information about Money Matters. How do I know I'm not missing any of the episodes? Well, don't worry. We actually have a Telegram group channel where we update the upcoming topics consistently over there. So if you are interested to continuously learn something new about finance, then you should definitely be part of our Money Matters community. So do join us in our official Telegram group. The link will be in the chat box. But if by any chance you're not able to find the link or click on the link, fret not, just DM me on whichever platform you're watching this right now and ask for the link and you will definitely get it as well. So thank you so much once again for watching. If you guys don't know, all of the episodes of Money Matters will eventually get uploaded onto this online platform run by Ascendance, the social enterprise that I run. So in this online platform, we have all kinds of contents, all kinds of workshops, talk shows, game shows, articles, and all kinds of stuff that is being uploaded and continuously updated for you guys to learn something new, not just in the area of entrepreneurship, but also finance and happiness and health and everything else. So if you're someone who has been joining Ascendance and coming for some of our activities, for example, Money Matters, and you want more of this, you want to be part of the team, you want to be part of the community, then fret not. You can actually be part of the community by joining our online platform. So let's check out this cool video on what is available at the platform and how you can join it.
Join Ascendance now to be part of the teenage entrepreneur community.
I don't know about you guys, but I was moving along to the song. So yes, join Ascendance now and be a part of our online community. And there you will not only get access to Money Matters, but a whole lot of amazing workshops. I think yesterday we had a workshop on storytelling, and continuously you get to learn something and upgrade yourself and become a better individual in a way. So yeah, check it out and let's get into our show today. So if you guys have not known already, our topic today is very, very interesting. I think it's something that should be talked about, which is none other than investing for the young. I think investing is something that is very important. A lot of us talk about saving, a lot of us talk about it to the kids. If you're a parent, you probably would have told your child to put their coins in a piggy bank and all of that. If you are a student yourself, you probably do have some savings in a bank or a piggy bank, and you would be saving it out. But not many of us were exposed to the idea of investing while we are still teenagers. So our guest speaker today is somebody amazing. He is quite experienced not only in being a teenager who was exposed to investing, but also helping other teenagers to discover this world of investing. So I had a very, very nice conversation with him on what his ideas are, how he is helping teenagers out there to develop the skill of investing, and how he came about to start this journey. I have to say, it was one of my favorite ever interviews. I really, really enjoyed myself having a conversation with our speaker. So without further ado, I think I'm super duper excited to show you guys the interview session that I had with our speaker. Hope you guys enjoy listening to what we had to say. So check it out. All right, hi guys, Madhura here, and yes, today's episode is going to be amazing because we have an amazing guest speaker with us here today. So I'm going to cut short to the chase. We have none other than James Fletcher. I think his whole background is so amazing. When I was reading it, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling kind of out of depth at this point in time, but I'm very, very honored to have him on my show. So if you guys are wondering who he is actually the founder and chief investment officer of Ethos Investment Management. Although this is something currently he has started working on, he has a wide range of experience of previously being the director and senior portfolio manager of a $1 billion emerging market small and mid cap fund. I know that was a lot of words for some of you, but he was a fund manager that has managed that huge amount of money at APG Asset Management, which is something so commendable. And I am so curious to find out what was that experience like for him. Other than that, he's also a CFA charter holder, which hats off. I think a lot of people struggle with this, but he has actually managed to make it happen. And most importantly, I think the one that I am very, very personally impressed with is, of course, him starting up and being the founder of Young Investors Society. So if you guys are wondering how I got to know about James, recently you will be aware that I was one of the nominees in the Maya Awards that was organized, which is the Money Awareness and Inclusion Awards. And personally, for me, it was a very exciting experience because I got to meet a lot of people who are in this field of impacting and creating change in the area of personal finance and investments and all of that. So it has always been felt like a lonely journey. Everybody was working on their respective projects in different parts of the world. But through this initiative, we have all been brought together. And one of the most exciting parts is, of course, meeting each other and having those conversations and bringing together everybody. So I'm very, very excited to have James because of this awards we have gotten connected, and I'm personally excited to see what else we can work on together and bring into into Malaysia and also the other countries as well. So without further ado, let me welcome our guest speaker on screen. Hi, James.
Hi, Mathura. Thank you so much. That was one of the kindest introductions I've ever received, and I am honored and excited to be on your show today.
Oh, thank you. I'm super excited. I feel like you're the probably like the overqualified person for Money Matters, because previously all of my guest speakers have been like entrepreneurs or just regular folks who may not have a background in finance, but they share their experiences as a regular individual, share how they manage their finances and all of that. So I think we can learn a whole lot more from your experiences in the show. So yeah, are you excited to get into our session? Are you feeling nervous or anything, or just
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Yeah, nervous. Your viewers are excellent, and I'm honored. I've honored with the impact that you're having throughout Malaysia, Mathura. I think it's just phenomenal work that you're doing.
Yeah. So I mean, with my intro, I think everybody will understand your background is pretty much on finance all the way through. But is finance the only thing in your life? Are you into any other areas of sports or anything else that is not finance?
Yeah, I mean, so we just got back living in Hong Kong for the past 5 years, and my wife and 5 kids. I've lived in Brazil for 2 years, so we enjoy travel. We've lived overseas. Hobbies, I enjoy golfing and spending time with my kids, and we'll talk about it today. But one of my hobbies has always been youth, and I've been a scoutmaster and work and serve in youth organizations. And Young Investor Society is really the way that I'm able to give back and help teenagers and high school students that are learning about money, learning about investing, thinking about a career in business. So really, Mathura, that's become one of my hobbies as well, is just giving back to youth and finding ways to talk to the next generation and make a difference.
I completely relate on that. I think that's one of the most fulfilling things in life for me as well, working with the young. And I'm glad we both work on that. So before we dive deep into the work you do with high schoolers and the program that you run in Young Investors Society, I'm more curious about your background as well. Like, were you someone who was always into finance, or is this something that was introduced to you by your parents, or maybe another teacher, or somebody who was in your school? How did you get started with all of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Really, my earliest memories of investing is my grandpa, who was actually a physicist. His hobby was stock market investing, and one of my earliest memories is him putting me on his lap when I was 7 years old and showing me the Wall Street Journal and showing me his investment accounts and the companies he had invested in. And I've always had a love for the markets. When I was a teenager, I read Buffett and started reading his annual letters, and really, it just turned my life upside down. It just made so much common sense, and I loved the way Warren Buffett thought and how he wrote and how he was focused on the long term and quality businesses. Um, I would say I never actually thought I would pursue a career in finance and investing until I was actually a Mormon missionary in Brazil for 2 years. So I learned the Portuguese language and lived with the Brazilian people for 2 years, and came back from that wonderful experience and just wanted to have international work and work overseas and travel and work in developing countries, use my Portuguese. And at that point, a career counselor and other mentors that I spoke to said, actually, investing is one career that you can travel, you can use your Portuguese. And I was fortunate enough my junior year in college to get an internship at a hedge fund based in Boston as a Latin American analyst. And then from there, I started covering Asian stocks as well, and African stocks, and was fortunate enough to get an entrance into an industry that's been just a wonderful career for me. It's always challenging, always exciting. The markets are always moving, companies are always changing, and so it always keeps you on your toes. But I travel to 18 countries a year. I meet with 300 to 400 CEOs a year. And it's just been an exhilarating industry to get to know companies and get to know countries all over the world.
That sounds extremely exciting, and I think many people would consider a career change after what you shared. But I'm just curious, like, what is a day in the life of a fund manager? Like what was your life like on a daily basis when you were doing this?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So I'd say it's a mix of analysis, internal thinking, and discussion and analysis as a team, and then external meeting with companies. So yeah, I mean, just to break that down, roughly, I'd say we spend about a third of our time really digging into our Excel models, reading broker reports, reading company filings, listening to company conference calls. So that's sort of the individual analysis. I'd say a third of the time is probably spent in team meetings where we're really discussing ideas, discussing risks, pushing our ideas within the portfolio and within our team. And then a third of the time is, I'd say, the really fun part, which is when we're on the road meeting companies, meeting CEOs, on conference calls and Zoom calls, meeting CEOs and CFOs and getting updates on their business and traveling around. That's fun time to really interact with some of the best and brightest leaders of the world. So it's a mix between external meetings and company interviews and really analyzing meetings with management teams, and then a mix between analysis on our own and really thinking deeply and trying to get our picks right.
It also gives us a very nice view, because a lot of us will immediately look at the sunshine and rainbows of every job. But it's nice
Yes.
that you also share that you do spend third of your time working on the Excel sheets and all of that, and the discussions, and then only the adventure is also part of it as well.
Yeah.
Throughout the years of experience that you have had, what are maybe some of the lessons that you have gotten? It could be in your career, or it could be in personal finance management, or it could just be life in general, that you hold close to your heart.
Yeah, it's a great question, Mathura. I would say one of the lessons is we have to remember in investing that, and business in general, is that in the end, it's a people business, right? It's people that are leading companies. It's people that are making capital allocation decisions of whether to acquire a business and what strategy to go into. And so, over my career, I've found to treasure relationships, treasure time with people, treasure time with management teams. Some of my, most memorable times in my career are just meetings with CEOs, meetings with team members, meetings with employees of companies, and really digging into what makes them tick, what is their strategy, what is their long-term vision, connecting on a personal level and a business level. In the end, it's all about people. Another lesson I'd say is investing. You want to take a long-term view, and there are times when the greatest investors in the world need to feel lonely, when you need to not follow the herd. It takes a certain mindset to know that you're right when the market tells you you're wrong. It takes also humility to admit when you're wrong when the market's telling you that you're wrong. Successful long-term investing means that you will have to be different from the crowd at times. This year, for example, we're going through turmoil and bear markets in most markets around the world. And these are the times that separate, the great investors from the average investors. When you can deal with turmoil, when you can deal with volatility and still stay focused on long-term fundamentals, that's what differentiates a great investor from an average investor. So, being able to think differently and think long-term is also a key to success.
I like that you also mentioned that you would feel lonely at times if you've
Yes.
got to stick to your principles in a way. You did bring up the point of we are currently going through the bear market, and as a teenager or a student who is not actively investing or anything, but they are watching this phenomenon take place. I mean, when I was a kid, I think there were crashes and there was ups and downs, and I really couldn't care less about any of it. But if a student is watching this right now and they are able to experience this phenomenon right now, what are the things they should be learning about, or should be understanding, or taking the effort to understand, because it's something unique that is happening at this current point in time?
Yeah, I'd say, first off, the bear markets of 2008 global financial crisis, the bear markets of 2020, the COVID crisis, these, looking back, are some of the best buying opportunities for long-term investors. The young, especially your teenage audience or your university audience, have a tremendous advantage that they have 40, 50 years ahead of them until they retire. So that long-term time horizon, gives them the opportunity to take some volatility and also invest for the long run. The marvelous thing about the stock market, as many of your viewers are aware, is that over the long run, it's one of the most powerful wealth creation machines in the world. Compounds, certainly not in a straight line. It goes up and down each year. But over any 10-year period, just take the S&P 500, over any 10-year period, there's a 98% chance that the market will be positive. And will continue to compound and grow your wealth and your money over time. So for those who have, a long-term time horizon, these sell-offs, these bear markets are great entry points into the equity markets for the long run. That being said, we need to be aware of currency risks, of balance sheet risks, of companies with high debt levels, because it looks like we are going into a global slowdown. And when you're going into a global slowdown period, you really want to make sure that your portfolio is resilient, that it's in businesses that have, high profitability, strong pricing power, what Buffett would call a good economic moat or competitive advantage around their business. So it's a good time to check to make sure the portfolio is equipped for volatile times ahead. But at the same time, history tells us that now these are the best entry points for long-term investors.
You mentioned earlier that when you were a teenager, you got started by reading books, especially Buffett's books and all of that. I think it's kind of there's two groups of people when they are teens. They're the ones who actually pick up the book and read through it, and then the ones who say this is so not cool and I'm not going to go anywhere near. So how did you come into that category of like, I am going to pick it up, I am going to read it, and I am going to learn about this?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, experiment. And, the fun thing about investing, but probably most careers, is that you can read from their books. Like, I read, Shoe Dog, which is about Nike and their founder, Phil Knight. And you get a good glimpse into what it would be like to start a shoe company. And, the fun thing about, being young is that you can read books from those successful in different fields and get a feel for different fields. For investing, one of the wonderful things about investing is the greats have written down their formulas and their secret sauce and, what they did and how they made investments. And so you can read, Peter Lynch, One Up on Wall Street. You can read Joel Greenblatt, the little book that beats the market. You can read Warren Buffett's annual letters, and you can read Jeff Bezos's annual letters, and you can get a feel for what made them successful. And then second, does this resonate with you? Does it seem like something that you could be passionate about and excited about? The other thing I'd say to your viewers is that whether you go into investment management like me or not, everyone can be an investor and is an investor. Everyone has a 401k or a retirement account. Everyone should have some brokerage savings that they're investing in the market. And so whether it's your career or whether it's your part-time hobby, being savvy about investing is a very valuable skill, I'd say, for anyone.
I do agree that it's probably one of the most fundamental skills that is not being taught in schools at this point in time. Something very, very important that we should be having. I think that is also one of the reasons you did start Young Investor Society. So maybe we can go for a very quick short break where we'll watch this introduction video on Young Investor Society and we'll continue our chat with you.
Sounds great.
Young Investor Society is life-changing.
There's something powerful about stocks. There's something fun that makes it approachable. And I'm going to be one of those adults that contributes, that gives back, teach investments the right way to high school students. And let's create a program that will teach long-term fundamental investing. Young Investor Society is legit. It was fun. It was fun to see some of the kids get up there and pitch a stock, and it was coherent.
Hi everyone, I'm Katya Rami, and today I'm doing a stock pitch on General Motors. So let's look at some of the company background on General Motors and ask ourselves, what is General Motors as a company?
I think that YAS and the skills that I've learned in the organization will help me in a lot of different ways.
In regards to all the information I learned from YAS, buying stocks is going to be an adventure. In fact, I've actually gotten to buy my first stock already. You'll see what NXP Semiconductors does and why it's important later.
Young Investors Society is really different from any other club because it's so focused on doing rather than just teaching. And actually doing, in this case, involves real money, which is great because you can make real money, like by going and learning from a club. That's so exciting.
Preparing for the stock pitch competition, I think that I learned not only about the company itself, but certain aspects of what makes a company valuable.
By participating in the stock pitch competition, I really learned how to analyze a company from every aspect. You have the financials, which are always important, but then you also really want to look at the products that they offer and how well those products are performing in the market.
I was the first young investor to start participating in the $1 a day challenge, and I started researching and buying stocks. When you're doing it with real money and with real stocks, it's a lot of fun.
Young Investors Society is honestly the best organization that I joined in high school because everything you're learning is so practical.
Money set aside today is worth a lot in the years to come.
Learning how to write, learning how to present, all those skills, and you can actually apply it towards something like this. It's pretty, and maybe in the future make some money with it too, right?
Yes, it's awesome. It's amazing. One of the best things I've done in high school. One of the best things I've done in my life.
I have actually landed a summer job, an internship, because of the stock pitch that I've completed.
If I had to describe Young Investor Society in one word, I'd say it was phenomenal.
That was so heartwarming. Amazing.
Thanks, Mathura.
Yes, I love it. I think that's why you guys very rightfully won, I think, the best project for underserved communities in Maya Awards. But also you have impacted, I think, students in 59 different countries. That's
59 different countries now.
Amazing. Why did you get started in this? I mean, a lot of people have gone yes, oh my God, they're not teaching financial education in schools, and they just complain about it, and then they move on to their next task. But you actually started something and have made it last till now. I think it's going to reach 8 years in November. So why did you start, and why do you keep going in a way?
Yeah, exactly what you said. I mean, I think it's a need that so many people acknowledge in the world. So many parents are so grateful that we have created this program for teenagers. Mathura, it really, for me, started with a letter. I was volunteering in schools as part of SIFMA's Invest It Forward program. So I was going to schools and visiting high schools. One day I was living in Los Angeles. I was assigned to Roybal Academy, which is in the projects of Los Angeles. It was, very, very poor community, Hispanic, predominantly Hispanic population. Walked into that classroom and started talking to the kids about stocks, and you could see their eyes lit up. They were excited about it. We had an amazing discussion about business models, and I told them that I invest in companies from Mexico. I have invested in a lot of brands that they knew, that, the world is looking for people with language abilities and understanding different areas of the market and cultures. And I received a number of letters after that visit. But one of the letters was from a young man named Edgar, and he wrote me and he said, "Mr. Fletcher, you probably won't believe it, but your 45-minute visit has changed my life." And he said, "No adult has ever visited my class before or showed me that they cared about me or my future." And he said, "I now have something to strive for and a vision that I want to achieve." And that phrase, no adult has showed that they cared before, just would not leave my head. And I said, there's so many adults in the financial community that care, that want to give back, but there's just no bridge between them and teenagers. And so I said, let's create a program that teaches investing the right way, teaches long-term fundamental investing, similar to the CFA Institute for high school age kids. And then let's create a bridge between financial professionals and kids like Edgar. And that started with sort of piloting curriculum and lesson plans, and we wrote lesson plans that first year. We had 6 schools that were participating in our global stock pitch competition. And then the next year it was 50 schools, and then the next year 150 schools, and then 300 schools, and then 500, and now we're at 1,400 schools in 59 countries, 10,000 kids per year participating. It's the largest high school organization around fundamental stock research and the stock pitch competition in the world. And it's just been just such a thrilling ride to see the kids and see their enthusiasm, see them rise to the occasion. In Malaysia, Mathura, we have 4 schools right now. The largest and most active is ISKL. They're one of our strongest clubs actually globally of all 1,400 schools. We had the winner from, we do another competition. We do a Shark Tank competition where the kids watch Shark Tank, and then they pick the best investments, and they write to the sharks of which companies they think they should invest in, and we get them. The winner gets to fly out and meet one of the sharks each year. We've had Mark Cuban twice. We've had Damon John. We've had Barbara Corcoran. And one year the winner was from Malaysia, from ISKL. We flew her out to Dallas to meet Mark Cuban. She had an amazing interview with him. He took her to a Dallas Mavericks basketball game. And we're proud of Malaysia and our group there, and encourage all of you to get involved, and who may be high school kids, and join a thriving Young Investors Society program in Malaysia.
That's amazing. I love the fact that one of the things that happens, I think I have noticed personally in Malaysia, is that when we talk to youngsters with regards to finance, a lot of them stick to the topic of, okay, let's just talk about savings. Let's just keep it there. They literally don't go beyond anything beyond savings. Like, that's it. How do you introduce the higher levels of your personal finance in a way to these young, and also to the parents, and how do you get them on board to say that, yes, my kid should be learning this at this age?
Yeah. So, and we have 80 different lesson plans, and it's everything from budgeting, saving, personal finance, all the way to advanced investing, discounted cash flow models, venture capital valuations. We teach them the full spectrum. I really think for us, it was, what we hear from teachers is that teachers are just scared to death to teach anything about finance and personal finance. And so, they start with the basics, and they start with what they know. Me being a professional portfolio manager and doing this every day of my life, I'm comfortable teaching investing concepts. And really what we did in those early days is we went to Harvard Business School professors, we went to Pepperdine professors, UCLA professors, and some of my friends in the industry, and basically said, okay, how are we going to boil it down? Stock market accounting analysis and financial modeling and analyzing an industry into a way that's engaging for teenagers. And I think no one's done that before. So it's very difficult to teach it to teens in a way that's fun, engaging. So I think that's where our curriculum's unique. And that was one of our challenges from the beginning is how do we boil it down? And And I think you need that professional knowledge of investing and financial analysis, and then being able to really take the time and boil it down and test and pilot and make it engaging for teens. The reality is stocks are fun, right? Like if I go into a classroom and I talk about budgeting, most people know it, they kind of roll their eyes. But when I talk about, okay, is Facebook a great business 10 years from now, or do you want to be the owner of Apple 10 years from now, or Tesla? And tell me why. Tell me what about this business excites you, or that you're pessimistic about. Kids get excited. I mean, these are exciting topics, and through that lens, you can learn not just about stocks, but you can learn about history and economics and accounting and human psychology and behavioral biases that we all have. And you can learn so many skills through that exciting lens of stocks and stock market investing. And the reality is saving is one key piece of the puzzle, is saving money and putting it in a bank account. But then the second piece of the puzzle, which is equally important, is can you compound that money at 10% per year in the stock market? And the combination of those two is what creates millionaires by the time you retire.
Yep, completely agree with that. And I like how you guys have explained it in a way that I think a lot of them and the youngsters, I think the way you guys present it is very exciting and very fun, especially in the video. The amount of excitement I saw in the video, I love it. For those who are watching here, I'm sure they are also extremely excited to see how they can be a part of this and how they too can start learning about all of this. So if there is a student who is watching this right now, how do they get involved in the Young Investors Society?
So that's a great question. So the fun of Young Investor Society is that it's free and it's a global community that you're joining. It's not only free, we pay you to get involved through sponsorships and through contests. So just go to www.yis.org, Young Investor Society, and then you can sign up, you can learn on your own, or you can take it to your school and start a club at the school. Signing up and getting started will link you into contests, events, scholarships, sponsorships, awards, all the fun stuff that we offer. We're funded generously by corporate donors that are very interested in investing in you. And that's what makes it all free, and that's what makes it fun. The second thing is I would say is just go out and learn. So read books like One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch, and just dip your toes in. See if investing is exciting. Go through some of the lessons at Young Investor Society, or read. There's a book called Stock Investing 101, an ebook on the website, which is free. Start going through that and see if it's exciting. And then the last thing I would say to your viewers is, I'm active on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. And I have been very blessed in my career through mentors and, those that have taken the time to connect and give me advice and help me on my way. And as a result, I am interested in helping any of you. So if you want to connect and you have questions, advice, I really believe in paying it forward, and I'm happy to be a mentor and happy to help however I can. So those are the resources, Mathura, that I would give to your audience.
That's amazing, and the fact that you have just allowed them to get connected with you on LinkedIn, I think that's amazing. So guys, if you are looking, I personally went through the videos on the website and I'm super duper excited. So if you are listening to this right now, definitely go and check out their resources, and I think you will definitely learn a lot from what they have created. So James, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing not just your journey, but also about Young Investors Society and opening up, I think, this opportunity to everyone here who's viewing it. Truly appreciate you spending your time with us here.
Thank you, Mathura, and kudos to you for all the good that you do. You're having a tremendous impact in Malaysia, so it's an honor to be on your show.
Thank you, and hope to see you in our future episodes. Maybe we can talk more about investing.
Absolutely. Just let me know.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Bye.